do after graduation? Become doctor's kind of cool. Being a surgeon, I'm the one in charge of helping my patient. Like, that's so sick.
Yo, making money. Ready to have my life up again, you know. Straight ortho, just bones.
Spending time with my family, going back to the East Coast and eating yummy food, watching my friends get married.
Working with kids that look like me and giving them hope that they can also become doctors. Having money to spend on things and the food. I'm always food.
The break in between residency so I can be in my princess era.
Going to New York with my girlfriend. Like being next, honestly, and seeing where God takes me.
You know, moving to Tampa, being in that, it's a very grassy, outdoorsy town, so I'm excited about that.
Living alone, living in Florida, I'm spending time with Mariah and all of my future residents.
A real job. Getting some money. I still got bills to pay and Amazon carts to check out.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my new apartment.
To finally meet my co-residents and to practice in the specialty that I chose. Yeah. To move into my new apartment and decorate.
Eden, what are you excited for after graduation?
I'm excited to learn how to be competent in medicine, and I'm also excited to get married.
I didn't talk to anyone yet. Hold on.
This is The Scene in S.T.E.A.M with Jade Frederick. Congrats to all my fellow graduates and special congrats to Eden and John. Hi Eden, welcome to The Scene in S.T.E.A.M.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Eden, you're such an accomplished individual. Well, first, congratulations is in order.
Wow, for what?
Oh. That's okay. Wedding? Oh,
I was waiting for the announcement.
Oh, okay. I like it. That's fine. Anyway, yes. Soon to be wife to John.
Yes.
And you're co-president of the HIPSA, and I think you're just overall a really big influence in our class for, you know, someone who prioritizes not only wellness, but, you know, being a strong student. And I've always admired you for that, for sure. Yeah.
That's sweet.
So how do you, I guess, balance these things? Because I don't think I've ever seen you stress eaten on a day in my life, which is really wild in medical school.
I think I love this question because probably if you would have seen me in like the very first month of medical school, you would have said something different. When I first started, I felt guilty about doing anything that was not studying. And I think because of that experience and realizing, okay, something's not working, I don't feel like I can keep going like this and it's not sustainable. I think because of that, I found ways to make medical school sustainable.
Yeah.
And so that's probably what you saw on the other end now that, you know, I think I'm a little bit more balanced. So I think I can probably attribute that to, I made sure that I could do all the things that I loved and that I needed to do at the same time. I think that is like a good recipe for feeling satisfied, feeling content.
Yeah.
So some of those things for me, friendship, community is really important for me. I think I've prioritized that. Whereas initially I'd be like, okay, this conversation is taking too long. This needs to wrap up so I can get back to the library. Yeah. People did not see me if I was not at the library. And so certain things like moving to studying with people. So I had people around me to support me. I definitely had like my stressed episodes, but having people around me really helps.
Yeah.
And then being like having time to go to the gym, that was my way of relieving stress. So put on my favorite tunes and go do some exercise really helps. So I think, you know, like the analogy of a duck swimming on water, all the stuff that I do in the background of like taking care of myself, as you said, is like their feet kicking, but up top I think that's why I can seem more put together. So yeah, taking care of myself through community, friends, my family's back home, so trying to call them as much as I can because that's really important. And then getting the aggression out in the gym.
Well, that's interesting to hear you say, because I would not have thought that.
Right.
Because I didn't know you as, you know, MS student, and the first, you know, couple months of first year, we weren't that close. So, That's interesting because, you know, even seeing you afar, you didn't never look at us, but I believe you. And I mean, you're one of like the most fit people I know. You know, we went on a trip to Hawaii. You were going in the deep end. You didn't come back before you drowned. And you're just paddling. I'm like, this girl's stamina is insane. But I mean, we tell our patients to live like this balanced lifestyle, and I feel like, you know, you have to learn how to do it yourself, but we can't always, you know, things can't always be balanced. But how do you think, like, it impacts patient care if, like, you know, we as students, we as residents, we as physicians, you know, aren't always at the peak of health and we're telling them to do all these things?
Mm-hmm. I think that patients actually appreciate someone who's real. Mm-hmm. So though it may look like, you know, physicians have it put together and it's really good to be an example for patients, mm-hmm. I think it's also realistic and good for patients to see, oh, we're all kind of struggling. So sometimes when I'm talking to patients and they're like, you know, I try, but I can't, I'm like, and that's okay, you're trying. Mm-hmm. And I'll maybe bring an example of how I am trying to do something and talk about ways that I have learned to accommodate, you know, different changes into my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to tell people what the goal is, you know, like your 150 minutes of exercise per week, but it's also important to say, where are you at in your lifestyle right now, and what things can we change to modify where you're at right now. And as we do those little changes, we can move up and up. Yeah. So I think being real is more important, and that allows them to relate to you. The relationship is really important in patient-physician relationships. And then you can go on to say, okay, where in your lifestyle can we make some changes? What are some budgets that we can do? And then say, these are things that I've tried and it worked. These are things that other patients have tried and it did not work. And kind of talk about the fact that it's realistic to not be able to meet every single check mark. Yeah. Yeah.
I completely agree on the little changes and like meeting them where they are. And I think, you know, the students would get better at it, but I'm still struggling with it. Like, we just have a Pre-Med OSCE, and they're like, so yeah, it's not really ready to change now. Maybe I can, like, eat fish fillet instead of, you know, fried. And it's like, but the Diet Cokes.
I know.
And no. So yeah, you really have to, I guess they call it rolling with resistance, like allowing them to make changes for themselves. Mm-hmm. But what would your advice be for students, you know, struggling to stay balanced, but, you know, still wanting to do well and still wanting to, you know, study and get everything in, but also wanting to, you know, keep themselves well?
Mm-hmm. I'd say give yourself grace, first and foremost. For me, as I said, at the beginning, I was like, anything that's not productive is like a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And then I realized rest is productive, mm-hmm. cooking healthy meals is productive, being able to like go on a walk and talk to family is very productive, because then when you go back to school and when you go back to studying, your brain will be prepped, you'll be more ready to study. So give yourself grace that sitting down in a cubicle is not like the only thing that you're tasked to do. You're tasked mm-hmm. to take care of your brain so that it can keep going. So balance can look like, if you are doing nothing right now but studying, just incorporating one little thing. Just find something that's the most important to you, something that you feel like you're really lacking in, and we call it like pairing habits. Mm-hmm. So if you make a smoothie in the morning and you have to wait for it to blend, use that time to do some calf raises, you know, mm-hmm. like anything else. Or use that if you're struggling to like spend time with God or something. Use that time to just like scroll on your phone, do a little devotion, anything that is already part of your lifestyle and you can just add a good habit into it. Makes all the difference, and it doesn't feel like a whole reset in your lifestyle. So that's the thing I'd say. And then if it doesn't work, try something else, give yourself grace, and just know that whatever your motivation is, if you can keep that in mind, you'll eventually get to the end. And if your motivation is getting to the end, you have to be whole. You have to have a full, balanced lifestyle to get there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that advice. And I think that's great advice. I think it's definitely worked for you. You're glowing. You're always glowing.
Thank you.
I mean, I think that's how you take care of yourself also, just like God's light glowing.
I say water, vegetables, and Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Beautiful. The end. I know you're gonna be so successful. You're such an amazing family medicine physician.
Thank you.
You already practice all the things that we tell our patients to do. So I'm so proud of you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Jamie.
It was great having you
here.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Scene in STEAM. I'm Jade. If you'd like to help out students studying science, technology, engineering, art, and math, please check out the links below. And I hope you can join us for the next episode.